Hello, welcome to Watered Seed Talks. So my name is Tokes and today we'll be discussing the truth about gossiping. So join me, let's dive in. Okay, so I am going to deep dive into today's conversation and I was thinking about this a couple of days ago and I wanted to talk about it just because we don't tend to talk about this as parents. I mean, we know that most of the gossiping that's done out there is usually negative, but we just never seem to speak to our daughters or our sons about what it means to gossip and just the impact of gossiping. So I wanted to talk about it today. But for those of you who have tuned in into our channel today, as I introduced earlier, my name is Tokes. I'm child coach for Watered Seed. And what we do here is that we empower girls between the ages of 8 to 18 or even more than, because again we try to just empower women generally and boys and men. I mean, our videos are really for everybody, but I've chosen to really target girls from the age of 8 to get empowered. So today's conversation really is the truth about gossiping. Now, when we talk about gossiping, what do we mean by it? I mean, my understanding of gossiping is just really talking about other people without them being present. Now, we can talk about other people positively or we can talk about other people negatively. We know that when we talk about other people positively, it means that we're saying something good about them. And when we talk about other people negatively, it means that we're saying something terrible about them. But it seems to be a really common phenomenon around girls mostly. I mean, I was talking to my husband about this and he was saying to me that, well, boys don't really gossip. Well, I think they do. They just call it discussion. But really today I kind of just want to talk about the negative impacts of gossiping, because I think that our girls and even as parents out there, I don't think that we really truly think about the negative impact of gossiping. And this means when we talk about other people negatively, you know, the things that we say about them that we definitely couldn't say in front of them. So number one for me in regards to the negative impact of gossiping is the fact that it hurts other people. It just hurts other people. I think I'm going to make it as simple as it is. I remember at a time when I was engaged, I think, and a friend of mine had told me that whilst they were at my engagement party, there were other girls that were at the party and they were talking about my engagement ring, and they said it was awkward and it looked funny and it wasn't a traditional engagement ring. Now, there wasn't anything so huge about that, but when I heard about it, it kind of made me feel really sad. It made me feel isolated. It made me feel like my friends weren't trusting and they weren't truthful, and it hurt me because they were supposed to be celebrating me, but instead they were talking about something else. So I feel like when we talk about other people, we hurt them, we isolate them, we make them feel like they don't matter, and that could really, really dim other people's light. So girls out there, every time we think about gossiping or talking behind other people's back and we know that what we're saying about them is terrible, I'm not going to jump to the part where the things that we need to do to refrain from it. But first, I just want you to know that when you gossip about other people, it is hurtful. Now, number two, I'm not going through this in regards to priority. I'm just going through them as they pop into my head. So number two is karma. So now we know the law of karma, and what it says is that what comes around goes around. So if we gossip about other people, guess what's going to happen to you? Other people are going to gossip about you as well. So what you do to other people, you're going to receive, is as simple as that. So if we don't really want to get back what we've done, then we really shouldn't do it, right? That's number two. Number three is that people don't trust you. Now, if you're a person that you're known to gossip a lot about other people, now you might have a group of people that you gossip with, but what would happen is that because they know how you are and what you're like, they're never going to trust you. You're never going to be that friend where they come to when something's really bothering them, because they know that you're going to gossip about it, you're going to tell other people about it. So really they don't want to talk about it with you. because you must think about it. Every time we talk about other people negatively, what we're trying to say, even though we're not saying it, is that we're better than them. Is the fact that, you know, we can never do those things that we do. So we enlarge our ego because we know what the ego is there for. The ego is constantly comparing itself to other people and making itself feel better, saying that, well, I wouldn't do that, so I'm better than that. But really it's false, because we're imperfect humans and sometimes we do things that are stupid, and we just need someone to say, well, Tokes, what you've done is quite silly, please can you not do that again. We don't need them to go around telling every other person to say, oh, look at what Tokes has done, he's stupid, oh, everyone keep going on about it, look at what that person has done. We just need to be able to correct other people when they've done something wrong and not kind of, you know, make ourselves feel like we're better than them, or we're even... Now, the one thing about gossiping as well that I find just a stealer is time. It steals your time. Gossiping is a waste of time. I believe the most important currency in the world that we are today is our time. And so what we do with our time, girls, what we do with our time really, really matters. Now, if we spend our time on texting, on WhatsApp, talking about other people, it is a waste of our time. It brings no fruit. It is not productive. It does nothing for us. So now, the last thing that I want you to take away in regard to negative impact of gossiping is that gossiping is addictive. It's an addictive habit. It's like eating chocolate. Okay, not actually like eating chocolate, because chocolate is actually yummy, but it is an addictive habit. It's a habit that we find it so difficult to come out of, because when we talk about our friends and there's no more friends to talk about, we talk about teachers when there's no more teachers, we talk about neighbours when there's no more neighbours, we talk about our parents, we always find something to bicker and gossip about, and it is such dim. It is so dim because it takes the light away from us, because we're constantly finding or looking for people to put down. We're always trying to make ourselves feel better than other people, and that only happens, you know, that feeling of greater than someone only happens for just a couple of seconds, because the moment you feel you finish talking about them or you finish gossiping about other people, there's a feeling that we have inside of us, which is almost like, it's like a conscience, where you know that you've done things wrong, you've said things wrong, but you can't take it back and you keep doing it. So we really, really need to be careful not to embark on this road, because what happens is that it's a continuous journey. We can't seem to stop. It takes a lot more hard work to then stop this habit. And even when we stop, guess what? People don't trust us, because people are, you know, they're inclined to think that we still are back to our old ways, or, you know, that's how that person is, so I don't think they can change. But we all change, because, you know, I don't want to say that I've been a perfect person. You know, I've gossiped about other people. You know, I was having a conversation with my daughter the other day because I noticed she'd done the same. And these are things that we do. But, you know, I was able to have a conversation with her to say, this is a no-no. You know, I called it out and I said to her, this is not going to happen, because I know what happens when we go down this line, especially for girls. You know, we're supposed to bring ourselves together, hold ourselves together, not beat ourselves down. So I'm going to talk about what parents can do and what girls out there can do themselves to kind of stop themselves from gossiping about other people. Maybe the first thing that I think about is that I remind myself of what it feels like to be gossiped about. So when I remember that feeling, I actually don't want to do it to somebody else, because I know that it's going to make them feel that way. So I know that all of us, every person in the world has been gossiped about. So we must be able to associate with that feeling of being isolated, or of being put in a little box and everybody gathering and being against you. So I'm hoping that when you remind yourself of just how it feels, you can hopefully stop yourself from doing it. Parents, number 2. Parents, we need to do as I do. Not just telling them do as I say, telling them not to do it. We need to stop doing it, because they're watching us. So as a parent, if all I'm doing constantly is talking negatively about other people, my daughter, my son's gonna pick it up. So we need to stop doing it as well. We need to change that part of ourselves that, you know, constantly talking terribly about other people. We need to stop it so that our daughters can emulate that good attitude in us of not gossiping. Is that we need to have courage. Now, if we feel like someone said something to us or done something to us that we feel like it does not meet the standard, we should have the courage to either walk up to them, to say to them, this is what you've done, I don't think is right, I don't think you should do it next time. And it should end there. That's it. We don't need to go and speak to other people about it. We don't need to tell other friends about it. We just need to kind of just tell them, and then it ends there. Now, if we feel like we're unable to speak to those people about it or that person, then we can have confidence and speak to either an adult about it that we know that can speak to that person. Just in humility as well, not because we're better than them, but just for them to be able to correct that behavior. I think as people we should remember the importance to be a light to the people around us, to be that person that people can come to because they know that you're truthful and they know that you're trusting. And if we want to be those kind of people, or if we want to be that person that someone can trust and have a conversation with, then we need to really abstain from gossiping, because it really is darkness. It really just puts us in this little bubble of darkness and we can't come out of it. But when we try to be the light, when we try to be trusting, when we try to be truthful, when we try to be positive, even when people make mistakes, people can always tell, people can always see how light you are, and people would always come to you to have conversations with you, or people would always, or just, it's that same thing as the karma, isn't it? That when you do things good, good things will come to you. So the universe knows that, every time you do something good, definitely, someone's annoyed you, you don't want to talk about it, you don't want to gossip about it, you've gone straight to them and you've had a conversation with them, the universe knows that you're trying to do that. So really something good will come to you as well. We can't have a world where people will not talk about us. No, that's not what I'm saying here. I'm saying that it starts with us. If we do the right thing and we can pass the right message across and along with our daughters, with our sons, we can have a better world. And that is what we're trying to do here. We're not trying to say that we are perfect people. We're just trying to live a better life, to be a better person. I think that's what I'm trying to say. And because we do not have this tiny bit of conversation with the girls, because there's just things that happen and is swept under the carpet, I thought it was a conversation that we needed to have to make girls understand that gossiping is not just something that you do in the playground. It's not something that you do at school. It evolves. You do it from school, you do it at university, then you take it to the workplace, and then gossips also become bullies. And there's just different traits about gossiping that really brings out really the bad and the negative in us, because every time we see those people, again, we try to cover what we've done or what we've said about them, so we become pretenders. So gossiping, it just has different layers and layers of of things, of negativity that we then need to cover. Girls out there listening as well, just for you to have it in your subconscious that every time, well, I'm putting it in your subconscious, that every time you talk about somebody negatively, I'm hoping you hear my voice to say, okay, have some courage, go to them, have the conversation with them and tell them what they've done, or speak to other people, responsibly, to say, this person has hurt me, but the end goal is to resolve it rather than escalate it, if that makes sense. So I've come to the end of today's conversation. I think it's a short one. I'd have to check the time. Yes, I think I'm at 8 minutes. Yay! Yay! First time on the 10 minutes. So I hope that you've enjoyed our conversation, and we will see you in a fortnight, in 2 weeks' time. I hope you had a lovely Easter as well. So, bye!